So recently, I was going through my old stuff from when I was part of the Starversus fandom and got a surprise reminder of one of the many reasons why I love being part of communities. But before I get into that, let me start this video off by saying, hi, I'm Voidstarz. If you're new to my channel, which you probably are, then welcome. If you're not new, thanks for returning. It's people like you that motivate me to keep doing what I love. Now, before we deep dive into the magical dimension of Echo Creek to Muni, I'd like to give some backstory to this. Starversus: The Forces of Evil, if you don't already know, is a Disney-owned cartoon made by Darren Nefsey that began airing in early 2015. It is about a magical princess from another dimension named Star Butterfly that gets sent to Earth by her parents with the hopes of Star gaining some much-needed maturity. The show follows her and her best friend Marco Diaz through many adventures and quirky escapades, from typical teen drama like crushes to fighting evil in the form of monsters and villains, and a lot more serious topics as the show goes on. The community around the show grew really fast from what I remember. Fans of Gravity Falls and Wander Over Yonder swarmed to be part of the action as their respective shows have similar elements of magic and facing evil. Though the community grew steadily, I didn't recognize there was an OC side of the community until late 2015. Fans of the show came together in creativity to create their own OCs, or original characters, inspired by and based in the universe/setting of the show. This is nothing new, you've seen it a million times online, I'm sure. Homestuck, Steven Universe, Soul Eater, Harry Potter even. It's not an uncommon practice to exercise your imagination and creativity and involve it with something or some things you take interest in. This community was no different. However, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't worth the talk. Call me biased, but out of all the communities I've been in, and I've been in a lot, this is one community that really stands out to me. Maybe it's the nostalgia, but I genuinely cannot compare this community to any other one that I've been part of. You could say it competes with the Gravity Falls OC community, but I don't think that'd be rather fair considering both were amazing for different reasons. The Starversus OC community, which I will from now on refer to as the SVOCC because saying that whole title is a mouthful, is a case I don't think I've ever really seen or experienced before. The community was still a fan base for the show Starversus. Yeah, everyone in it shared a mutual liking for the main source material, but the way the SVOCC functioned on its own was super different to how the main portion of the Starversus fandom seemed to. In fact, and I think a lot of people in the SVOCC would agree with me, the SVOCC felt like its own separate community altogether. It wasn't just role-playing. It wasn't just drawing characters. It was making friends, attending events, hosting group chats, participating in community events, collaborating with others, world building, and so much more. If you were not there for the golden era of it, you did not get to live the best parts of the SVOCC experience to the fullest. But I don't want to bore you with the facts and telling you what happened. In fact, I think I've spoken enough already. I think it would be much more fun and entertaining if we all took a listen to what some former members have to say about what the experience was really like. I had the idea to reach out and contact some former SVOCC members, and some even came to me when I spoke publicly about wanting to talk about this. So enough of me rambling, I think it's time to hear what other people who were part of the community have to say. Hi!
Hi!
It's been so long since we've spoken.
Yeah!
Hi, my name is Darling. Darling Phobia is spelled Darling Phobia with a Z at the end on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch.
My name is Josie. I'm currently on Instagram. My username is ZeroEscapeLiker. I'm private, but you can just request me.
I was Starversus: The Forces of Evil Jade on Instagram back in 2016 to 2018.
My old account from SVTFOE to be SVTFOE Josie, not necessarily named after myself. My character was named Josie. She was a little bit of a self-insert. I joined when I was maybe like 12 or 13.
The Starversus pageant.
Oh my god.
That was like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't see that before in like any other fandom, but they had like this like whole thing where they would do pageants and people could draw and collab and compete for stuff. It was super awesome. I've never seen that before.
Some of my favorite memories were when we would have these sign-ups for these events. So it might be like a birthday party or like a summer bash or like something like that, or like they were usually role plays. And they were, oh my gosh, they were so weird. So much weird stuff happened in them. I remember I tried to set up an elemental roleplay after I watched the Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was totally intense.
I feel like even though there were people in the community that were big, it was such like a tight-knit community though. Like everyone just kind of seemed to know each other. Because I remember I had this one friend who I introduced into the community. When I introduced them to the community, they'd be like, oh, I met this person, so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, I know them, we talk. I mean, they'd be like, you know everyone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, I had 1,000 followers, I think, and I knew like every single person.
It really felt like in the community, you just like knew everyone who was there.
Yeah.
But I could never take role playing seriously. Yeah, I would kind of joke and troll around. I wouldn't take it very seriously because I was like 13 and I didn't care. And other people were like in asterisk.
I do remember being in at least maybe like one group role play chat with you, and I remember that it was not a serious thing like at all. Someone got thrown into a garbage can or something like that, and half the community did not take anything seriously, and the other half was like, oh yeah, I'm down to role play.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember getting into like DM role plays with people, and I never actually wanted to, and I do it like to be nice and to make friends. When I got to the point where I had a solid group of friends, like I didn't want to do it anymore.
Another big thing was community overlapping with other communities, like the creepypasta thing.
Oh my gosh, yes,
There were
I remember that.
many Star versus creepypastas, and I was friends with all of them.
Yeah. I remember there was SVTFOE Ben, SVTFOE like Tiki Toby, but there were a lot of overlapping communities, like, totally normal in my head.
Star versus creepypastas like literally shaped me into who I am today. And like Jade dated Ben, Jeff, and Toby, like all of them. I'm not kidding.
I think it was the art aspect of it. I think a lot of the people who were getting involved in the community were beginner artists, so it was a really good way to learn the basics of art. I mean, obviously we were kind of tracing screenshots, so we didn't get very far, but it was actually pretty shocking how much me and the rest of my friends improved with our art just by being in the community. And like we didn't really care about the show itself. Like I never really cared about Star versus the Forces of Evil very much, but like I think the art aspect was what tied everyone together, and like meeting new people who had like really cool art styles. Like you'd want to be friends with the people who were like super good artists, so you could like collab with them and stuff. Being able to edit and do that art stuff was really important. And I think probably the reason why I didn't stay for longer than a couple years was because at some point I kind of phased out of art. So it was hard for me to like be involved in that whole scheme because I had nothing to produce, I guess.
The community, like the Star versus OC community, was so, it like even though it was Star versus, belonged to the Star versus fandom, it felt like its own community because we just had like all this like mishmash, a bunch of different people, interests, stuff going on that was completely unrelated to the show.
Oh yeah, the Star versus community had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah.
The only thing is that we just traced screen caps. That was the only thing we had in common.
I love how this community has like zero correlation to the show. A lot of us talked about Star versus sometimes, like most of the time. It was just so focused on our OCs that we felt like so divided from the actual fandom.
Oh my gosh, I made a group of friends pretty early right off the bat. What I did when I first like very originally got there is I made a second account and pretend like we were friends so I could like comment on each other's posts and everything. And it was pretty obvious that we had the same art style, so it didn't take me very far. Eventually, I don't even remember how it happened, but I got added to this group chat with like 5 random people. Pretty quickly, we became a close group of friends. Like me, a girl named Liv, a person named Tati, and some other people. But like eventually Liv added her friend in real life, and then he joined that whole group. And then eventually we had friends of friends like Ari and Finn who kind of joined into that whole thing. And eventually like we had a really solid group going, and we actually kept on with that for a couple years. And we actually all still talk to this day. We're all kind of in a lot of group chats together, so it's really nice that I'm still such close friends with them. It's so funny because whenever people meet us and they're like, how did you guys meet each other? We're like, oh, we met through a role play community.
Kay has literally been my best friend for 5 years, so
yeah, that's I definitely see that.
I still talk to her every single day of my life, and we met because of a stupid creepypasta Star versus role play. You know, like it's a good way to find people that have the same interests and people that you know are meant for you.
Did you walk away from it feeling like you had gotten something worthwhile from it?
I definitely think I did. I mean, I learned so much about like making friends online, about like improving my art, about writing even, like through all the role plays that I did. Like I feel like that was really the first community that I was in with people who were my age, and it brought me a lot of really good social skills, like especially when it comes to like being online online and having an online presence. And it also taught me a lot of like safety precautions. Like, I feel like I was pretty smart for a 13-year-old about like knowing not to like put any of my personal information online and like keep myself anonymous. That was definitely stuff that I got good at, and that I'm still using those skills a lot today.
Did being part of the community have like a positive outcome or like result for you?
Oh yeah, several. That was the first like really big community that I was ever in, and if I never went into that community, I don't think I would be the same person that I am.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I wouldn't know the same people, I wouldn't be in the same fandoms, I wouldn't like my interests. It really shaped who I am, and I think it's because I was at that age where like I wasn't entirely sure of what I was, because I was just becoming a teenager out of childhood, where everyone likes the same thing because you're pressed into liking the same thing. And then also with art, same here, like I did not realize how much I like drawing until I started tracing star. I never thought that art would be it for me. Like, it was a hobby of mine as a kid, of course, but I never took it seriously. I always thought I would want to do something with like animals, because I'm a big animal lover. But now I'm going to college so I can become an art teacher. Like,
I had no idea that was your goal. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to see that we're being part of like a certain community is like able to inspire people to like find these things that they're really into that just like affect how they are in the future in such a positive way. Do you ever think that there could be something like this again?
Yeah, for sure, honestly.
Okay.
I really do, because I'm in the Danganronpa OC community, obviously.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And there are so many people there that like you can recognize them just based off of their characters. Like, they could come up with a completely different character and you could recognize it because of their trademark, you know? It's easy to recognize people and like form that closeness, and I think any fandom can do it. They have their own ways of doing it, but not enough to try.
That like really reminds me of being so familiar with the art styles of the people in the community that even if they did make a new OC, which happened a lot of people usually had like more than one OC, if they were in the community for long enough, or like even then, like even if they weren't, people just seem to pick up and recognize each other's art styles. Anonymity is so hard to do if you're already in it.
And it's so weird that we could do that, because we all just traced bases, you know? But it's like we all did line art different, we all colored different, shaded different. It was so easy to tell, even though it was all the same thing pretty much.
Even though we all had like the same source, we had the same base, but the way we built upon it was so different. We all just like our own little art characteristics into it, and that's kind of like what made it ours.
Absolutely. I feel like I've seen it happen in other communities. I mean, I started before I was in the Star versus the Forces of Evil. I started in Gravity Falls OCs. And back then I didn't really have any friends. I was just making my own content and like posting my stuff. It was like a whole year before the Star versus community came back. And I feel like people will always kind of be making self-insert OCs. Like, for our communities, there was like the My Little Pony self-insert OC.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
it ages back. And like every time there's a new generation of kids who like are really into a show and really want to practice their art, there's always going to be some like, oh, I want to make a character in this universe, and then like drawing the character and then making an account for that character. Like, I've seen it countless times. And even if it doesn't happen on Instagram, it might start moving to platforms like Twitter or TikTok or like some of the new more popular platforms.
I had so much fun looking back at memories with old friends after so long. Hearing everything everyone had to say about the community gave me so much nostalgia. I'm so grateful to be able to speak with others who lived through the same experience I did, but nostalgia's not the only thing doing this project gave me. Looking back at it, the Star vs. community as a whole means so much to me, more than I think anyone will ever be able to understand. Getting the chance to experience it and then reflect back on it with the very people who made the experience so worthwhile gave me an idea. And me being me, well, I'm sure a lot of you already know where this is going. After all, I didn't have a reputation of being extra for nothing. So initially I was going to do this little poster collage thing of a lot of the people that inspired me in the community with people's OCs and all that kind of good stuff, but then I realized I probably shouldn't bite off more than I chew, because it would be a lot of work and a lot of effort to go back and try and find references for everybody's OCs. So I ended up deciding to make a poster of my OC Saile. I hope that eventually I'm able to turn this into a poster, a print that I can sell, and maybe if you guys like it, you'd be able to buy it. Though I also did it for my own self-indulgence, because I think it'd be really nice to have a reminder of the community that really inspired me to pursue what is essentially my job now. However, that is not the only thing I did, because I feel like I owe you guys so much, and I don't think I could ever return to you guys the things that being part of this community has given me. So, while I know it's not a lot, I did dress up as Star for you guys, because I remember a couple years ago, a lot of people wanted to see me cosplay Star. So, as your former Star Girl number 5, I offer you a cosplay of Star by your one and only Star Girl. I just wanted to say I'm so entirely grateful for the chance to be able to speak about something I've been wanting to speak about for a while now. I spent a long time looking for a community to replace SVTFOE. None comparing to the kind of comfort and absolute unfiltered pure joy that the Starverses community as a whole gave me. And then I realized it's not about replacing the community. I didn't leave the community with an empty slot in my life. I closed a door that was meant to be closed eventually, and I opened up a new one. You can't recreate memories and feelings from the past, but you can find and make new ones that make you just as happy. I don't think I'll ever fully step away from my love for this show and its community, even though I've moved on. But today feels like a reunion. We've all graduated from that stage in our life and are moving on to new things. Still, it's nice to look back at it and the memories made with familiar faces and friends we've met. So in honor of the community and how far we've come, I decided to celebrate. I rewatched the entirety of Starverses, all while I made a little thing to commemorate a community I love so much. I dedicate this to all the people who inspired me at such a young age. People that motivated me to do something that eventually made me realize my passion. People I've looked up to that were essentially doing the exact same thing as me. Just a kid online enjoying a community. So, thank you for being one of the reasons that little spark was ignited in me. Thank you all so much for watching. I had a lot of fun working on this project. To all the people who participated, thank you. This project would not have been complete without you. None of this would have ever happened without any of you guys. Good luck with pursuing all your dreams. You helped inspire me to chase mine. And I believe in you. You've got this.
Hi! Star Butterfly here. I just wanted to say I hope you all have a magical day and you take care of yourselves because you are important and you shouldn't forget that. Bye!